In this screencast, I will walk you through our syllabus for this semester. I am Shelly Moore. Here's my contact information and my office hours. This is Information Science, BUSA 215. Here's our course description. It basically says that we're going to go through Microsoft Office, including Word, Access, PowerPoint, Excel, and basic computer skills, as well as web page development. I'm not going to read this entire syllabus, but I will just walk you through and highlight the main points. Like I said, this is fully online. It's a 16-week course, begins January 14th and ends May 13th. Weekly content will open Saturday at midnight and close 8 days later on Sunday at midnight. So you have a lot of time to work on all of your homework. Here we have this course focuses on basic computer skills and application strategies, like I just said. You will complete, we will be using Office 2010, and you will need that to complete all of the assignments. You can complete most of this course if you have Office 2007, but keep in mind it does not include all of the functionality required, and you will lose some points if you do not have Office 2010. This course is specific to BUSA and meets the computer literacy requirements for CWI. Once again, this next section reiterates that you do not have to take the CSA exams if you have completed this course. Course objectives, you can read through that. And what we have down here then is under each of the programs we'll be working in, I have outlined all the different skills that we will be learning. So here's general technology, here's internet and email, and then we have all the skills for Word, and Excel, and PowerPoint, as well as Access. Now keep in mind, Access we will be doing towards in the middle of the semester. You do need to make sure you have Office 2010 Pro, so it does include Access. Now for those of you that have a cheaper version that isn't the professional version, you can get away with that, and what you can do is when we hit the Access section, you can get a free trial of Office 2010 Pro, and that way you will have access to Access for about 30 days, which is all you should need it for. So don't feel like you have to go buy the professional version, but if you don't currently have it, you can definitely go buy that one. And there are student versions available that are cheaper than buying it just off the shelf. The textbook we are using is Go Office 2010 Volume 1. Here are our authors and the ISBN numbers. Please make sure you are using that green book with the cheetah on the front, and it is Volume 1. And I just talked about that 2010 suite, making sure you have that Access component. Outcomes assessment. We do have 5 tests that we will be taking. We have a general technology internet email exam, Microsoft Word, Excel, Access, and PowerPoint exam. Now, to complete this class and not fail, you do have to pass every test with a 70% or better. If you do not get a 70% the first time, I will be contacting you and we'll work on what you need to do to retake that exam. But you do have to have a 70% on every exam to pass this class. Final grades are based on the following percentages, just your regular 9 to 100 A, 80 to 90 B scale. Our tests and quizzes are worth 50%, homework and participation is worth 30%, and we will have several projects we're working on that are worth 20%. And here's my statement on incompletes, which I do not generally give. It would be an exceptional case if I did. Assignments are completed using information from the textbook and videos, all the things that I give you, and the schedule is in Blackboard. The main objective of this class is for students to demonstrate computer literacy. So we have our tests and projects to assess that. And it goes over all of those again. And let's see, we'll be using Blackboard as well as My IT Lab in this course. In Blackboard, you will find our syllabus and schedule. You'll find the instructions for all the assignments, deadlines, and content to help you complete all the skills you need for each week. Almost all of your homework will be turned in to My IT Lab or completed within the My IT Lab system. It is very rare that you'll be turning things into Blackboard, but watch the schedule watch the course folders. I've outlined it very clearly where each of those pieces need to go, because there are a few things that need to be turned into Blackboard. Your grades. Your grades will be shown in my IT lab. Every once in a while things will show up in Blackboard. That will show you your score for that assignment, but they will be transferred over into my IT lab. So for your final total grade, make sure you're watching my IT lab, not Blackboard. Communication. The best way to communicate with me is by email, as well as ask the instructor forum on the discussion board. If you have a question, please use the discussion board if you think it's relevant to the entire class. That way you can, as a student, go through and check that before you ask me a question, because it may have already been asked. And that way you don't have to get a hold of me and wait for a response. The answer may already be there. Feedback. Instructor feedback for assignments will normally be given within 1 week after the due date. Sometimes that will happen sooner. In fact, generally it will, but keep in mind that give me at least 7 days to get all caught up with everybody. A large majority of your feedback will be input into my IT lab with your grades. Occasionally some will be entered directly into your interactions, depending on if we're doing blogs or different things like that. And we talked about discussion boards. There are more discussion boards within Blackboard, which you've seen. So if you have a question specifically regarding Word, I do have a Word section in there that I'll be watching, and Excel and all of those. That way we can kind of keep things organized and you're not trying to go through a huge list of the Ask the Instructor. But general questions should go to the Ask the Instructor. So specific questions, then go ahead and send me an email. Give me at least 48 hours to respond. Generally I would do it easily within 24, if not sooner. I do check my email all the time, so that is a good way to get a hold of me. And class announcements, grades, assessment, descriptions, etc. will all be posted in Blackboard for the most part. And you should be able to track your progress in the course. Keep this in mind, your accounts should be checked on at least 5 of 7 days. So you should be in Blackboard checking things and then working on your assignments and turning in assignments in my IT lab. Absences, late assignments. We don't really have absences, obviously, in an online class. But I don't need you to tell me every time something goes wrong. You have 9 days to get your homework in for 1 week. That should give you plenty of time to get everything in. I do not accept late assignments. On the rare occasion that you have, you're out for 3 weeks because you're in the hospital, your child's in the hospital, something major has come up in your life, please let me know in those instances. But I don't need to know on a weekly basis that, yeah, I just had something going on and I can't get stuff done this week. It's your responsibility to get your stuff done. And I need to make sure that my time is used in the best way that I can. Social networking. I do not add students to my social networking sites, so please don't take offense if I deny you your friend request personally. Netiquette. This is really important in an online class. Text-based communication is especially prone to misinterpretation. It is important that participants consider this in their course communication. Communication should conform to academic standards of courtesy. Blaming, profanity, personal attacks, etc. are unacceptable. Failure to adhere to these standards will result in a 0 for the assignment and may result in immediate failure to the course. Remember, when you're reading other people's emails, keep in mind it is very easy to misconstrue what they're saying. So keep an open mind and give them the benefit of the doubt whenever you can. You should be aware that the use of sarcasm is particularly prone to misinterpretation. With that in mind, try to stay away from sarcasm. The use of emotion icons is highly advised to help convey some of the important nonverbal elements. Time and pace. This class is not self-study or online correspondence course. You can access Blackboard at any time, but the course does have deadlines, as you can see on your schedule. Regular participation is mandatory. You must complete all of your assignments and everything else by those posted deadlines. So therefore, you need to have daily access to Blackboard and the internet. Online instruction requires a philosophical shift of the participant and instructor. This course requires you to be more active in your learning process. In other words, you cannot be a passive learner who waits for information. Instead, you must be proactive in watching, reading, studying, writing, questioning, discussing, and understanding the material of this course. I will be your guide to the knowledge, not your provider. Okay, this is a big point. This course is not easier or less time-consuming than an on-campus equivalent. So if you were taking an online course just because you thought it would be easier, then you're in for a big surprise. It is recommended that you set aside 3 to 4 hours per week for each credit hour. So for this class, which is 3 credits, then I expect you to spend between 9 and 12 hours each week in preparation and completion of the course assignments. This class is set up to be rigorous. We do have a lot of projects as well as our regular weekly work. So please keep this in mind. I hope you have a place where you can go and work on this class that isn't the dining room table, where you can be distracted by whatever else is going around you. Make sure your family understands that an online class is a class and you do need to be there and participate, and you need that time to get this class done. Like I said, late assignments are not accepted. Each of the exams must be passed by 70%. If this does not occur the first time, a makeup test will be provided. When this occurs, I will get in touch with you. Record keeping. Please maintain copies of all assignments, papers, answer sheets, etc. for future reference. If there is a discrepancy on a grade, copies can help to amend the error. Your grades will be posted to your My Grade Center. Grades should be checked on at least 5 of 7 days to ensure accuracy. If a grade goes uncontested for a period of 2 weeks, it will be considered correct and permanent. So please make sure if you're checking your grades and you see that there's something wrong, that you let me know right away so that we can have that discussion. If you go a month or 2 months out and say, oh, I should have gotten this grade on this, I forgot to mention this, then I'm sorry, you're out of luck. You need to do it within 2 weeks. Behavioral expectations. Every student has the right to a respectful learning environment. In order to provide this right to all students, you must take individual responsibility to conduct yourselves in a mature and appropriate manner. Students who disrupt class or behave inappropriately or disrespectfully, as determined by the instructor, may be asked to leave. In this case, our online classroom. Academic dishonesty. All work submitted by a student must represent your own ideas, concepts, and current understanding. All material found during research must be correctly documented to avoid plagiarism. Cheating or plagiarism in any form is unacceptable, and violations may result in disciplinary action ranging from failure of the assignment to failure of the course. I have caught people plagiarizing in the past. It does not make me very happy. Please do not turn in work that is not your own. Please cite work that is other people's. We will be doing a research paper, and it is very important that you watch what you're writing and how you're citing it, and we'll talk about that more as we get to the research paper. Here are some examples of academic dishonesty, but it certainly doesn't include everything. Go ahead and read through that list, make sure you understand it. Email and Blackboard accounts. We were talking about email earlier. I do expect you to check your CWI email, and I expect you to write me from your CWI email. That is the best way to communicate with me, and that is the expectation for this course. When I send out announcements or anything like that, it does go directly to your CWI email. Please make sure you are checking it. And here are the instructions to make sure you can get on if you haven't done that before. Drop policy. It is the student's responsibility to drop the course, not mine as the instructor. You are responsible for adding and dropping all courses. At the end of the first week of class, I do have the ability to drop students for non-attendance. Beyond that, it is your responsibility to make sure that you withdraw or drop the course if you do not feel like you're able to complete it. And then here we also have our special accommodation statement, and then there's information on the library and information resources, which you can also find in Blackboard. And this concludes our screencast for our syllabus.